And now, the true light, featuring As-Sayyid Al-Imam Isa Al-Hadi Al-Mahdi.
If that was not the case, why did Jesus talk in parables? Jesus talked in parables because there was times when he just had to say things that he only wanted certain people to understand. So he compromised at times. See, even the Messiah himself had to compromise. And he talked in parables because he could have just as well talked straight out. Like I have a quote. Let me see. Let's take Matthew's, right? And turn to the 22nd chapter.
What verse?
If I don't give you a verse, what does that mean?
Okay.
You should know me by now for all these years.
And Jesus answered and spoke unto them again by parables.
Here it is. Jesus is getting ready to give some people a parable. Now watch. Go ahead.
And said, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a certain king, which made a marriage for his son, and sent forth his servants to call them that were bidden to the wedding, and they would not come. Again he sent forth other servants, saying, tell them which are bidden, behold, I have prepared my dinner, my oxen and my fatlings are killed, and all things are ready. Come unto the marriage. But they made light of it, and went their ways, one to his farm, another to his merchandise. And the remnant took his servants, and entreated them spitefully, and slew them. But when the king heard thereof, he was wroth. And he sent forth his armies, and destroyed those murderers, and burnt up their city. Then said he to his servants, the wedding is ready, but they which were bidden were not worthy. Go ye therefore into the highways, and as many as ye shall find, bid to the marriage. So those servants went out into the highways, and gathered together all as many as they found, both bad and good. And the wedding was furnished with guests. And when the king came in to see the guests, he saw there a man which had not on a wedding garment. And he said unto him, friend, how comest thou in hither not having a wedding garment? And he was speechless. Then said the king to the servants, cast him into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. For many are called, but few are chosen.
All right, stop. A very common quote in that, the 14th verse. Many are called, and few are chosen. Every Christian uses that quote. You heard that quote before? Now there's a whole big story that preceded that, from 22:1 all the way to 22:14. Now, if I turned around and asked somebody, what is Jesus talking about here? What is this parable about? What would you say?
I have to read it over and
well, let's read it again. Let's see if we can find out. What parable is he teaching here? Go ahead.
And Jesus answered and spoke unto them again by parables, and said, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a certain king, which made a marriage for his son.
What does that mean, sir?
I understand what he's saying now. He's saying that basically, in plain words, he's saying, hey, I'm asking you to come, and you saying...
Yeah, I'll answer it eventually.
Right.
The point I'm trying to make is, did Jesus compromise as far as he spoke in parables here for certain people? You know who he was speaking for? He was speaking for people here who understood the scripture. Anybody who was not one of his followers or not one of the Pharisees or Sanhedrin who didn't study the scripture will never catch what this parable is talking about. The answer to the parable is found in Isaiah 61:10.
I will greatly rejoice in the Lord. My soul shall be joyful in my Creator. For he has clothed me with the garments of salvation. He has covered me with the robe of righteousness. As a bridegroom decketh himself with ornaments, and as a bride adorneth herself with her jewels.
Notice he acknowledges the dress of a bride and a bridegroom as a symbol of salvation, as a symbol of purity, righteousness, all right? And in this parable, the whole thing is that they speak of the kingdom. What does he say? The kingdom of heaven is like a certain king. The kingdom of heaven is what's mentioned in the books of Revelation 21 and 22, coming down out of heaven like a bride adorned for Christ. You see? They're speaking about the dress of a bride, first of all. What do brides wear?
White.
Long white robes. Even in America, where they became Christians, they wear this. Long white robes and a face veil. This is the traditional dress of a bride in America, correct?
No.
And the husband wears a white tuxedo, a typical dress. So the bridegroom here, mentioned in 22, this whole chapter is all talking about how people do not want to put on their white robes. and how they will be thrust into, even though they're going to come on the last day, they're going to be thrust into darkness. Now, read it again and you'll see it. He likened, first of all, the kingdom of heaven to this king. So that's the kingdom of heaven they're talking about. If you don't read the first 2 like a lot of Christian preachers and start at 3, 4, and 5, you'll think they're talking about a real king. When they're not, they're talking about a kingdom of heaven. Now go ahead. And he sent forth his servants and called them that were bidden to the wedding.
And they would not come.
And they didn't come. You all are being told to come home, put on your white, and you're not coming. People who are worthy of it are not coming. Go ahead.
And again he sent forth other servants, saying, tell them which are bidden, behold, I have prepared my dinner. My oxen and my fatlings are killed, and all things are ready. Come unto the marriage.
And you start to think this is really a marriage. If you don't realize what verse 2 is talking about, this is symbolic of their heaven. This is symbolic of the kingdom of heaven, and it's symbolic of people who were supposed to be worthy, who missed it the first time. The first time when Elijah Muhammad came and beckoned them to come into the kingdom of heaven, and they rejected. Now he's saying again, here we are again calling you to come into the kingdom of heaven. Watch what happens. Number 5.
But they made light of it.
Y'all make a joke out of coming home and putting on your white. One day I'll be in my white. I have to find more confirmation. We show you all through the scriptures over and over again about white, about your jalabi, about your dress of the bride. You say one day, you make light of it. And
went their ways.
Go ahead.
One to his farm, another to his merchandise.
That's your jobs you're talking about. I got to take care of myself and my family. I got to finish school. I got to go do this. I'm going to go get my own land and do my own thing. Why should I move in there? I can get my own land and build my own farm and do my own. They're telling you about that. Go ahead.
And the remnant took his servants and entreated them spitefully and slew them.
Go ahead.
But when the king heard thereof, he was wroth, and he sent forth his armies.
Now remember, the king is who? The king is symbolic of heaven. The white man, now when you go out and work amongst them, they are called the remnant. And they do what? That's number 6.
Okay. And the remnant took his servants and entreated them spitefully and slew them.
This is what they'll do to you. They will kill you. They are killing us. They kill in Vietnam, they kill in Iran, they kill in Iraq, they kill in Syria, they kill in Sudan, they killed in Ethiopia, they killed throughout Ghana, they kill in Nigeria, they kill in South Africa. They kill us. We still worship and praise them and work for them. Still make them rich. What else does he say?
But when the king heard thereof...
And remember, the king is heaven. That's what number 2 teaches. The king is heaven. Go ahead.
He was wroth, and he sent forth his armies and destroyed those murderers.
That's the angels who come forth from heaven. Mentioned in Revelation 22 again. See, because they're talking about the kingdom. Remember, see I'm saying how when you read the Bible, if you don't follow, you can miss what they're talking about. If you don't read number 2, you don't know that they're really talking about heaven and angels. You think they're talking about men armies and how these armies killed. They killed the wicked. Go ahead.
And burned up their city.
And it tells you we're no longer going to destroy the world by water, but moreover by
fire.
Fire. They're talking about judgment day here. That the angels are going to come down from heaven with fire and destroy the wicked city of Babylon. Go ahead.
Then saith he to his servants, the wedding is ready, but they which were bidden were not worthy.
Then the angels say, okay, so now that we've stopped the devil, come on into the tabernacle of the Most High. Get ready for the wedding. And what do y'all say?
Go ye therefore into the highways, and as many as ye shall find, bid to the marriage.
So I take off my white robe, I become Dr. York, and I go into the street to try to reach people. And try to bring them home to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because y'all are coming to me, listening, and still not coming home. Then you complain about that. Why is he Dr. York? Why ain't you in the mosque? One time I was out in a club, and a guy walked up to me and said, aren't you Imam Isa? I said, yes. He said, why are you in this club? I said, I'm here with you. I mean, what am I in here for? What are you in here for? I'm in here for you. He said, oh. Walked with a real dumb look on his face. He just said, oh. You know that sound Negroes make when they get confused? Oh. Go ahead.
So those servants went out into the highways and gathered together all as many as they found.
Our brothers in the trains and the buses and the schools, walking the streets, they're doing everything to go out to get you. Go ahead.
Both bad and good. And the wedding was furnished with guests. And when the king came in to see the guests, he saw there a man which had not on a wedding garment.
You know, people sitting in that room right now, you know you're supposed to have on white. You understand? You know it. You know right from wrong now. All right, what does it say about him?
And he says unto him, Friend, how camest thou in hither not having a wedding garment?
Why don't y'all dress right when y'all know it's right? I got sisters I see sitting out there that's been here, coming here for years. Still ain't putting on their white. Still ain't putting on their veil. Why? This was the heavenly is talking about. Why? Go ahead.
And he was speechless.
Because there's no answer when we ask you that, right? Well, I'm not ready yet. Because I have people say, Imam, I don't have a jalabiyah. I said, outside, they tell them, I said, give them a jalabiyah. They wear it twice, then they take the jalabiyah off. Say, y'all full of it. Go ahead.
Then says the king to the servants,
Remember, the king is heaven. Keep that in mind now. Go ahead.
Bind him hand and foot, and take him away, and cast him into the outer darkness.
That's what's going to happen. This is heaven rejecting people because they reject the preparation for the supper of the wedding of the Lamb. Go ahead.
There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth.
Doesn't that sound like Matthew 24 again?
No.
Yes.
For many are called, but few are chosen.
Now you understand? What that little phrase, many are called and few are chosen, many people get it turned on to the light, but they don't want to take off their traditional clothes and garb themselves in righteousness. The first thing they told Muhammad is to rise up and purify your garment. He had to stop wearing the garbs of the Meccans and put on white. And whenever they know so funny, when the so-called Arabs made a movie called Muhammad, you ever heard that movie, Muhammad Rasulullah? They always showed you his followers dressed in all white. Throughout the movie, all the people that opposed them from the different tribes of Quraysh and everything had on multicolors. Now they got scholars from different parts of the Arab world to come to do the script for that movie, Muhammad Rasulullah. And a lot of Muslims rejected the movie because they said they was going to depict an image of Rasulullah. They were so caught up on such tribute things, they didn't see that when they all got together on a subject, they came out with the followers of Muhammad all wore long white robes. Now you go to Saudi Arabia, they got on gray jubba or jalabiyah. They got on green ones. Egypt, they got on plaid ones. Sudan, the sisters are wearing yellows and orange and speckles. But when they all came together on that movie, they all had enough sense to see that back in Muhammad's time, they wore white. Then they say they follow the example of Muhammad, and you go to a Sunni Muslim mosque for prayer, and everybody got on different colors. So when they cast you into triple darkness on the day of judgment, and you won't be allowed into the kingdom, turn to Revelations. Now, what chapter were we just reading?
22 in Matthew.
Now, that chapter 22 of Matthew, mathematically, go to 21 of Revelations, because 22 is the end of the world. That's the last book of Revelations. Go ahead, and what do you read? I've read it 1,000 times. It tells you about a new heaven coming down.
And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from Allah out of heaven.
That's what Matthew 22 is talking about, this kingdom. Go ahead.
Prepared as a bride adorned for her husband.
See the same words? Prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. Go to Isaiah 62:5. It'll talk about the 144,000 and what they must be inside this new kingdom of heaven.
For as a young man marrieth a virgin, so shall thy sons marry thee. And as the bridegroom rejoices over the bride, so shall thy Creator rejoice over thee.
See how the scriptures all link right back in? We told you that the 144,000 are going to have to be virgins, not defiled by the harlot, have not drunken the wrath of the fornications of the harlot. We got to raise those kids that way. You can't do that outside. You're a young man with a happy business, and if things are going right, what happens when your wife has kids and you got them out in the world? And they get tempted by the delicacies of this harlot of the book of 18. And you've corrupted their life because you had an opportunity to make your children pure. Stop thinking so much about yourselves and what you want and start thinking about the future of our world. Because it's in your hands. The Arabs can't do nothing. They want to modernize. They want more modern cars and technology in Arabia and Sudan and Egypt. They don't want Islam. They don't want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They don't want to worship. They want discotheques and new movies and modern hotels and all kinds of things like that. They have turned away from the path of Allah. It's in your hands to revive it. And you're messing around stalling while time is running out. Read on.
Back in Revelations?
Yes, 21. Should be at verse 3.
Right. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of Allah is with men, And he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people. And Allah himself shall be with them, and be their creator. And Allah shall wipe away all tears from their eyes. And there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. And he that sat upon the throne said, Behold, I make all things new. And he said unto me, Write, for these words are true and faithful. And he said unto me, It is done. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. And I will give unto him that is athirst of the fountain of the water of life freely. He that overcometh shall inherit all things, and I will be his creator, and he shall be my son. But the fearful, and the unbelieving, and the abominable, and the murderers, and the whoremongers, and the sorcerers, and the idolaters, and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. And there came unto me one of the 7 angels which had the 7 veils, full of the 7 last plagues, and talked with me, saying, Come hither, I will show thee the bride, the Lamb's wife.
See how it goes right back to the same thing? It keeps repeating itself. So it tells you it's the marriage is about, but yet you'll come to the marriage, you'll come to the classes, and still refuse to put on your white. Come unprepared to the wedding. Knowing better. Jump from that to Revelation 22, the end of the world.
And he showed me a pure river of water of life.
In Islam, we call this Kawthar. Multiple times in the Quran, Allah Ta'ala speaks about couches in paradise under which beneath flows rivers. So the Quran begins to explain these rivers when the Bible stops here. See, this is the end of the Bible. And that's how you know the Quran was a continuation, because in the Quran, whenever it describes paradise, it picks up this philosophy. It picks up this doctrine, this fact, and makes it clear. Go ahead.
Clear as crystal.
The crystal, go ahead.
Proceeding out of the throne of Allah.
That's right out the Quran.
And of the Lamb. In the midst of the street of it, and on either side of the river, was there the tree of life, which bare 12 manner of fruit, and yield her fruit every month. And the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations. And there shall be no more curse, but the throne of Allah and of the Lamb shall be in it, and his servants shall serve him. And they shall see his face, and his name shall be in their foreheads. And there shall be no night there, and they need no candle, neither light of the sun. For the Creator Allah giveth them light, and they shall reign forever and ever. And he said unto me, These sayings are faithful and true. And the Lord of the holy prophet, the Lord, the Creator of the holy prophets, sent his angel to show unto his servants the things.
Correct. Stop right there.
And that's a fact, baby. Now you gonna kick some lyrics like this. Come on.
Walk a fine chalk line and put the needle to the grind. Representing one kind, seeing eye for the blind. Witness what I carry on bears a further purpose. From how we do slam a few, then you wanna purchase a dialogue of funk. You love to pop it in your trunk. I win more discipline than a Shaolin monk. Pete Rock and CL, well set to spark it. The powerful target to destroy the black market. But when you say black, listen, I don't know, you lose me. I guess another beggar can't afford to be choosy. I come to the maximum, artist on the major label. Any duplication of this one is fatal. On 125, I gotta hit your line, beat your ass with my tape, any race or shape. Cause if they got mine, they got yours too. But together, here's what we gotta do.
Tell them. Yeah. You know, this is the word. That's right, y'all. You got to. Everybody must say what. Yeah. It's like that.
The funk legacy I pass on, clearancy for high rates. Every time we sample all the pastime greats, stick it in the SP 1200 B to make a loop. Lovely way to troop in the Lexus coupe. Just a little bit set to make a whole lot happen. The musical inside my rapping, written by the CL, produced by the BR, and any credit that you heard thus far. I start from scratch cause the bassline's critical. Better than the original who first made it. Now you wanna sue me, but fans never boo me. Believe I know the times we've been broke too, G. Here's another sample clear, see you get the hell out of here like a bootleg. You're over for the year. You only get the credit where the credit is due. So listen, what I shout out is true.
Yeah, true. You got to tell them to say what. You got to tell them to say what. That's right. Come on. That's right. Straighten it out.
Like the strands of limbs, well, I'm thinking that's said. Here to go to the head and count the locks on the dread. I and I lit to verify, going to multiply. A theory many thought a conspiracy. Here to let you know that it applies to all of us. You know exceptions to the rule, and that's a plus. Cause who job blessed, let no one curse. Straighten out what I be about, reckon above the clout. And let the management work for me, because I don't need the unnecessary hostility. A proper marketing plan so we can gobble up the dough, straighten it out so everybody know. The kids are official with the purpose of a smooth surface. Kicking the surface one time to make them nervous. We're finally here and very long overdue. Pete Rock, this one's for the crew.
Gotta, everybody must say what. You gotta, everybody must say what. You got to, come on, say what. All black people must say what. Everybody must, the YGs they must, the hilltop they must, the whole money earning must, everybody must, come on.